in my pursuit to go. Yeah, for new levels I reach. Aim for the sky, don't settle for less. Realize that you are the best, so aim high. In my pursuit to go. Yeah, for new levels I reach. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to episode number 298. Rise Up Worldwide. Listen, it is officially going down. I am your host, Joe Boss, and follow me at Joe Boss Radio. Listen, we got the whole squad with us today. We got my man, DJ Lost and Found on the ones and twos. What's going on, sir? How you living?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Yo, how you?
Good. Ready to get started. Ready to make some things happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got a rep for the team. You know what I mean? NETS. Nets.
They're going to fall out the playoffs, bro. Come on.
Listen, get the hate out your blood, bro. That's all I got to say.
Listen, I predicted what was going to happen with Kyrie and KD years ago.
Listen.
I got the text messages.
We'll save that. Save that. All right. I got my other brother on here, Mr. C Live. What's going on,
yes,
sir?
Sir.
How you doing,
yes, sir.
Man?
Everything's good. Everything's all right, man. Yes, sir.
Good. Happy to have you with us. And of course, our guest for the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, Adam. Follow him at Adam Official. What's going on, sir? How you living?
It's just a privilege to be on with you guys. I've gotten to know, obviously, you, Joe, and you, LNF, and Mr. C. We're just getting to know each other, but, I've just been really looking forward to this opportunity, and I'm very grateful you guys are having me on.
Praise God, man.
Yeah.
Praise God. Listen, so let's jump right into it, man. I know that you just dropped a single with some brand new music. You mentioned offline that you just started you've been a rapper for umpteen years, but now you're actually putting together music as to how you define it. So tell me a little bit about that transition.
Yeah, I mean, I've been rapping, I want to say, since I was 8 or 9 years old, and I'm turning 44 next month. So been rapping for, 35 years or whatever. But, for most of that time, I just thought that, being a dope rapper meant that you can spit some fire bars on an instrumental. But when you want to become a professional, artist, it's a whole different animal, especially one who, if you want to be one that's successful, you have to learn how to make music that people not only will listen to, but will want to go back to. And for me, the heart of everything, I try to approach every song that I make that this particular song might be the only time somebody hears the gospel. So it's very important for me to, somehow integrate and interweave the gospel into every single song that I make. Sometimes it's a little bit more apparent. Other times you have to peel some layers back. But everything that I do has an undertone of Christ. And, I know a lot of times rappers, kind of go into it with the mindset of I'm just going to try to come up with a verse or verses that, are just phenomenal wordplay and this, that, and the other thing. For me, that's never really been my approach because I know, for me, the weight of knowing that I'm going to have to kind of lay every song, every syllable that I ever spit before the Lord and give an account for it. It's more important for me that my verses and my songs are what the Holy Spirit wants me to speak.
Yeah.
So, I've been blessed to get a lot of affirmation from my peers and from people in the industry who are like, you're a phenomenal rapper, your bars are crazy, blah, blah. And that is a blessing and I appreciate it. But for me, the greatest compliment as an artist that I can receive is when people tell me that I have a unique sound, because I definitely don't want to sound like anybody else. And number two, that, they can really sense that Jesus is at the core of my message every time that I put something out.
Okay. I have to go off script a little bit. The way you phrased that, when you said the greatest compliment I can receive, I'm working, my day job is I work in sales. That was almost word for word what we teach a lot of the salesmen to say when they're asking for referrals. The greatest compliment I can receive is a referral of a friend or family.
Oh.
You work in sales, don't you?
I've I did sales for many, many, many years.
I
I
can
don't call
tell.
it sales, but I've done sales.
I could absolutely tell. The way you said that was like, hold on, hold on. I recognize another salesman for sure.
No doubt.
But no, but that's what's up, man. It's really great to see and really be a part of the transition, man. It seems like you're definitely been well received for sure. What so now tell me a little bit about this single or singles that you dropped.
Yeah, and that's a weird. It's I learned a very valuable lesson. I put out an EP with 3 songs um, in January. I had
Okay.
put out 2 EPs last year with 4 songs, and it said EP. So when the and I'm like OCD and detail oriented, so I quadruple check everything. So the morning that that one dropped in January, and I looked and it said way too busy single. I started freaking out because I'm like, I know that I did not put that it's a single. I know I put EP. And what I learned in researching was that anything less than 4 songs, they list as a single, which to me is
Mm.
silly because just like at its root core, anything more than one is not a single anymore. So that was kind of weird to me. The problem was that I had 2 more 3-song EPs lined up. So the same thing happened this month, and the same thing will happen, or last month, and the same thing will happen this month. But
I
yeah,
think
so
go
go
ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I like I really try to put plans together with everything that I do, not just with
Hmm.
music, but I'm very, I'm very planned out. I'm very detail oriented, and I'm big on execution. So I put kind of a 2-year plan together to come, to basically come in brand new. I didn't know anything about Christian hip hop a year and a half ago. Um,
Wow.
and basically, I put a 2-year plan together that I'm like, if I can hit these benchmarks and hit these points of demarcation, I think I'll be in a really good place. And one of those main focal points was to drop 5 short EPs um, before my 2 9-song albums. So I have 2 9-song albums ready that I'm going to drop around the summer. I don't know exactly yet, probably like May, June, or June, August, or something like that.
Mhm.
But just to kind of see those 4, and the 5th one will drop probably next Friday, to see these EPs come together and be so well received. And my goal with them, to be honest with you guys, was to just really learn how to song make and to kind of cut my teeth so that, as I progressed in my artistry, people would not only see a development in terms of me as an artist, but they'd also see kind of a consistency in my message, so that as I start to go dig a little bit deeper, there's already a foundational level there.
Wow.
What
Wow,
What are
that's
your
amazing.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on CHH? Since you're saying you're so new to it, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the space?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So what I knew about Christian hip hop up until a year and a half ago was Lecrae and Andy Mineo, and reason being was because I had hung out with both of them on multiple occasions because of 6 degrees of separation. So I hung out with both of them a couple times over the, whatever, 5 6 year span. And that was, I didn't know that there was this massive subculture of Christian hip hop artists. And so when I started to really make a conscious effort to start to develop a professional career, I was like, I guess, I should kind of do some research. And I couldn't believe that when I started diving in, how many people were in this subculture. It was extraordinary. But, the Lord is so cool because the 3 people that I became very, very, very close with early on, and it was totally the Lord's orchestration. I didn't seek anybody out. Was Will Cata, Selah the Corner, and Cole Campbell.
Mm.
Very quickly, Will Cata, the way that I got connected with him was literally I just started looking up Christian hip hop artists. A freestyle by him popped up. I had never heard his name. I'm like, dude, this dude's fire.
Yeah.
I sent him a message on Instagram. He hit me back 3 minutes later. 5 minutes later, we were on the phone and we became close friends.
Wow.
Cole Campbell, I met Memorial Day of 2013, and at an event that it was like secular artists and Christian artists, and we hit it off, but we lost touch for 7 years. And then a year and a half ago, the Lord put him in a dream of mine. Hadn't talked to him in 7 years. I woke up, the Lord was like, you got to get a hold of him. I did, and we became best friends. And then Selah, we met through a mutual friend who was producing for me. And he's like, yo, I know Selah really well. And knowing you, you guys are going to hit it off. And Selah has become, one of my best friends. So it's interesting how, even though I was brand new, the Lord brought me 3 really prominent, very, guys who were really solidified and had been doing this, almost like the Lord knew what I needed to come beside me to help me kind of navigate these waters. And then I'm a relationship builder, I'm a bridge builder. So like now, over the course of the last year and a half, I've made a lot of really, really close friendships with guys like the commissioner, with Prodi. The list goes on. I could start listing, a couple of handfuls of people, but you get the point. So yeah, it's happened very quickly, but I feel now like I'm kind of entrenched in this subculture. And number one, not to be long-winded, but number one, I'm blown away with how much extraordinary talent is in this subculture. That's number one. And then number two, just kind of seeing like I'm a team player. So not just with music, with anything. So for me, when I came in, I didn't come in going, I want to be one of the best Christian rappers in the world. That was never my mindset. My mindset was, I want to come into this and take my 42 years at the time, now I'm turning 44, years of experience in life, 25 years in the professional world and 7 different careers. I've run companies, I've owned companies. I'm like, I just want to come into this subculture and bring something that I feel like will bring the culture as a whole up. This subculture doesn't need another rapper. It needs another team player that's going to help kind of develop a platform that hopefully will open doors not only for myself, but for the people that I really believe in. And that's kind of been my mantra.
Wow. Wow, man. And to hear all of that. Now, I want to ask you, since you've only been involved, I guess, in the culture, as you said, 2 years that you've even known about it. At what point did you come to Christ? So were you like, or have been saved a long time, or was it something that happened like kind of just before you got involved with the culture?
Yeah, so I was raised in a Christian home, but by the time we went to a very, 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 very small church. I think there was less than 100 people, and there was no youth group. There was like 4 people in the youth group.
Right.
So I didn't have like any kind of outlet. And plus I was like a basketball star from the time when I came out of the womb. My dad was a high level college coach. So I was born into basketball, and I was a really high level player from early on. So that's all I cared about. So by the time I got to high school, I didn't really care much about Christianity. I wasn't really going to church. And then what happened was, as I sought out to attain, I lived very reckless lifestyle, drinking, smoking, all types of that stuff. And then simultaneously, I also built up a very successful professional career in a bunch of different outlets and sects of industry. And in 2006, I was making a ton of money. I had achieved everything I wanted to, and I just felt incredibly empty. So I was living in Denver at the time. I was a broadcast engineer at the time, and I just told the Lord, listen, if you'll take me as I am, and you'll just guide the rest of my life, I'll never look back. And since 2006, I haven't. So in terms of hip hop, ironically, I rapped my whole life. I never ever rapped ungodly lyrics, talking reckless, but it wasn't about Christ. It was more like these like spiritual undertones to them, deep thought, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then once I started really going after it, the Bible and his lyrical gift that he gave to me kind of collided, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Good.
Wow. Praise God, man. That's
That's
so good. That's so
That's
good,
amazing.
man. Listen, let's get into some music. Let's break it up a little bit. LNF, what you got lined up for us, sir?
So, funny you asked me. I'm gonna get into this Rik Montero video where ATTAM is featured, because I honestly feel like that's one of the dopest joints from last year that still, in my opinion, didn't get enough attention. And then Adam's verse, like I know you don't care about only being known as like lyricism and stuff, but in all the circles that I'm in, like everybody was like, "Yo, that's the top tier verse of last year." So I definitely want to expose that to the people. You know what I mean?
No pressure.
It's already been recorded, so
so it is what it is.
Exactly. I can't change it.
Right. So, right here on Rise Up Worldwide, let's stay tuned, stay blessed.
Yeah, we gonna give it to him this time. Hope y'all ready. Won't that boy stomp on it, lead him Yeshua Prince all on it. Tell the devil he a con artist, we gon' King Kong on that whole squadron. Trust me, I ain't nearly really ready. When the temper heat up, they gon' be confetti. Or more ticks on that demon time, you ain't preppy enough to cross the finish line. Whole lot of breath, you ain't know that the wage of you sitting is left. Chasing the check, say you getting money, but you can never come out of that debt. But that won't concern you, as long as you fresh on the pics in the gram though. Got them thinking you ramble, till you shine with the fest, now you sing for the band though. One hit wonder, one song sang, not a whole clan deep under. You ain't built for them steel bars or the prison yards with a cold summer. One hit wonder, one song sang, not a whole clan deep under. You ain't built for them steel bars or the prison yards with a cold summer. Y'all stay out of my way, never saw, say, set it off. Hey, y'all stay out of my way, never saw, say, set it off. Hey,
trust me. It's better off, I don't set it off. Been lighting the lamp since NHL 94, Sergei Fedorov. Hired guns out the bullpen, full pen, no credit loss. Y'all ran a check, read it off, so the Lord's work, we get it off. I mean, look, Christ, the head of the body that makes us bionic. Got so many haters in the music biz, I find it ironic. Much to their chagrin, more lit since taking gin at my tonic. Doing this for Christ, who care if the brand considered iconic. We rejects, never turn coast to elect, never earn votes. Behold, like a fire land of Sheol. With every lie that we told, they fill it in, we militant. Hell gate wide, path leading to life narrow as a keyhole. What the call brings become all things to all mankind. Sin explode like landmines, what's hidden exposed like tan lines. What the call brings become all things to all mankind. Sin explode like landmines, what's hidden exposed like tan lines.
y'all stay out of my way, never saw, say, set it off. Hey, y'all stay out of my way, never saw, say, set it off. Hey. Set it off, hey. Set it off, hey.
And then there were three.
Man.
All right, we're back. I thought it was like Survivor and you put his tiki tour out.
Right.
We thought you got voted off the island, Mr. C.
Over here, man.
And I just want to say, LNF, man, you and I, we built a relationship offline, and you've shown me love on that song, from day one. And I agree with you, and it has nothing to do with me being on it. That's a really, really good song, and I really think that, that's going to be one that as time goes on, I think that people will really recognize as one of the best over the last couple of years. Rik, when he sent it to me and was like, I remember he sent it to me, and he says to me, I have a song and you're the only person I want it. I said, okay, no problem, whatever, And I was getting ready to walk into work, and he sent it to me, and I put it on, and my eyes lit up. I'm like, oh, heck yeah, dude. I'm glad. I was like, don't change your mind in the next couple hours. I'll go to the studio after work. I knew he had a great record there. For
real. I mean, even you look at not even the video, but the response at like Kingdom Rising 2. Like what I mean, you talk about Kingdom Rising 2, because you talk about being a bridge builder. What was that event that you put on in the city? And then also, what was kind of like the response to that track? Because it seems like it was probably like one of the headlining tracks.
Yeah, well, so in the video, you'll see that him and I were performing that actually at his summer event, which was Christ Jam, and it was bonkers when that thing, because nobody had heard it. So back up just briefly, him and I met at a Starbucks, and we kind of had this like mutual vision, like, man, you know, like the New York, New Jersey area, you know, there's a lot of talent. We got to come together. And so we both were like, well, we're not the type of people to just like be like, oh, somebody should do that. We just do it. So we're like, let's just do it. And so he was like, listen, I want to put on a summer event. And I said, okay, well, if you do that, then what I'll do is I'll put an event on a couple months before that as kind of a precursor to build some momentum. So I put on the first Kingdom Rising, which at that time I didn't have a lot of relationships. So I invited I invited Conquest, I invited Paito, I invited Rik, and I invited Prati, because they were like 5 people that I had built relationship with. And what's big for me when I'm putting on an event, I don't just like invite people to like be on the roster. I have to have a personal relationship with you, because I have to know that you're walking intently with the Lord. That's like absolute priority for me. So I'm gonna have to give an account to the Lord for anything that the ATTAM group puts on. So like, those were 5 people that I had gotten to know and I knew were walking with the Lord. So I put that seed in the ground, and it was very small scale. You know, maybe we had 50 people show up. And so when he did Christ Jam, and Christ Jam, nobody had heard Set It Off yet. We had just recorded it and shot the video, but the video hadn't come out yet. And so when that went off, people were kind of like, what is this? You know, because we were the only 2 besides the producer and the engineer who had heard it. And it went crazy. Like, and then from there, he dropped the video, and it really, you know, created a buzz. But, you know, moving forward to Kingdom Rising 2, I actually, I took a pretty big loss on the first one financially. So I basically said to the Lord, look, I have no problem taking a loss. I said, but, you know, you're going to have to make it really clear to me that you want me to run with this on the next one. And so long story short, I was in the midst of a couple weeks of just being like, Lord, like, I'm not going to hunt down a venue. You got to make a venue happen. And that's when New York City Church of Christ, which has, I think, like 11 campuses across the city, something like that. They have 3,000 people. Wow. They saw what I had done with my first one. And they basically told a congregant who knew me, hey, can you get in touch with ATTAM and see if he'll do that here? So I met the pastor. He's the man. We hit it off right away, and the rest was history. So at that point, I said, okay. Then I saw the venue, and I saw that it held, 12 to 1,500 people. So I said, okay, Lord, like, I'll do this. I was like, but I need a bigger roster. So then by that point, I had built more relationships, and I brought like the commissioner up from Florida, and I got YP also there, and I brought Angie in, and I brought who else? I got Q Flow up. I brought C4 Cortona, showed up on the strength of his relationship with them. So yeah, it just built up, and so I put a big roster together. But again, these were all people that I knew, and then basically I just said, all right, Lord, like, I have no idea what this is gonna be like, but if 50 people show up to this one, I'm definitely gonna have serious egg on my face. So, and what people don't understand, and I don't say that like condescendingly, but like, forget the money that I put into it. I put easily 200 hours into that event. Like, we're talking about like serious work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just like put an event together if you want it to be successful, or anything. Whatever you put into something is clearly what the output's going to be. So I put a lot of time and energy into that. I put 3 weeks alone into by myself taking the whole roster, and I spent 3 weeks by myself with the Lord going, what should the order be? And I fooled around with the order and this, that. And one of the coolest things that I heard from 50 to 100 people is, the way the artist flowed, like, like you had all these different people like that make different kinds of music, but it just flowed or whatever. And I really believe it was because the Lord orchestrated the order and all that different stuff. So like all those minute details. But anyways, long story short, we ended up getting 600 people came, and the response was crazy. I'll be honest with you, I was on complete fumes by the time the show came, because I took 146 phone calls from 6 a.m. until the show started that day alone. Like, it was crazy. And then I didn't see any of the artists perform because I was putting out fires to make sure that the event went on. And, it didn't matter. Like that day, by the time I performed, I was basically blacking out. But what I realized was like that day was not about ATTAM, the artist. It was about the ATTAM group. And I had launched my corporation, and that was really the first event I put on with my corporation. And so for me, from a brand vantage point, it was a home run because it was like there was such a spirit of unity. All the artists were not only getting along, but rooting for each other, hyping each other. The crowd, you just saw so much love. And so like for me, it's like I don't need to put on a dope event. I need to put on something that's going to have testimonies and ramifications that'll go on long after it. And sure enough, I talk to people who are involved. I talk to artists that are like, yo, ATTAM, I heard this family got back together because this. I heard this marriage was repaired. I heard this child came back to Jesus because of Kingdom Rising 2. And like for me, it's like it's like that's the greatest honor in my life as it pertains to music, is having a very small role in his grand plan. And I'm going to be putting on lots of events. I have another one coming up, I'm sure we'll talk about in a couple weeks. But like for me, I'm not looking to have a company that just makes a lot of money or like just kind of like takes low-hanging fruit. Like for me, I'm trying to build a foundation and an infrastructure that will bring this gospel to the four corners of the earth. There's so much talent in this subgenre, and I feel like one of the things that we're lacking as a whole are platforms that can really get it to the four corners of the earth in a substantiated and sustainable way. And so that's what I'm trying to build. But it takes time, baby steps. But I think we're headed in the right direction. I got a great team around me. God has blessed me with incredible people around me and who believe in my vision, the best of the best. And, they've kind of all come behind me and said, we really believe and see what you're doing and we want to be a part of it. And, there's a lot that I'd be able to do alone, but I wouldn't be able to do, so much of this without my team.
Right.
Wow. Man, that was so rich. Like
the one question. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry, man. But the one question I do have is, because people see the place where you are now. What's the one thing you can say that you learned that would transition you, say, from if you were your humble beginnings to where you are now?
Well, I still feel like I'm in very humble beginnings, quite frankly. But, I think that for me, the Lord, this is what I want people to understand is like the Lord knows when you're ready to step into your calling, right? So like just a very little background is like I was doing music when I was 20, so 1999, and I was working with one of Fat Joe's business partners. He was kind of pseudo managing me. And one day he called me up and said, turn on MTV. And I did. And it was this guy that kind of looked like me, kind of sounded like me going, hi, my name is Slim Shady. And that was when Eminem came out. And he was like, there's no point in me investing in you anymore because, there's another white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. So that was the end of that.
Wow.
Fast forward 12 years later, I was still, rapping or whatever. I signed a record deal that at face value looked really good, but I did not read the super fine print, and I found myself in a very bad situation, and it took me 9 years of litigation to get through it. So you guys know ATTAM for the last 14 or 15 months. ATTAM didn't go public until that litigation of 9 years was over. Actually, I had the name ATTAM in my heart for 3 years, but I was still in litigation. So I had to hold it and not tell a soul about it. And then as soon as it was done, that's when I trademarked my name, started a corporation, S corporation, and the whole nine. But I say all that to say that I look back and I'm like, if I would have blown up at 20 years old, I would have destroyed my life. If I would have blown up when I was 32, I would have destroyed my life. If I would have gotten going 5 years ago, I probably would have. So it's like the Lord knows when the time's right. And, the greatest, and I vowed to the Lord, I would always share this lesson whenever I have an opportunity. We Oh, besides salvation, obviously, that's our most coveted asset. But besides salvation, we always talk about how our time is our most valuable asset because we can't get it back. And that's definitely true. But what the Lord taught me through that 9-year process was that the next most important asset that we have is our John Hancock. And the Lord was like, you're going to have a lot of contracts put in front of you. So I needed the first one to be very, very painful so that you never sign a bad deal again for the rest of your life. And so in the midst of it, I was very frustrated with the Lord because I felt like I lost 9 years of my prime rapping time, you know? And I realized that, you know, he needed to teach me a lesson that'll not only serve me, but serve the next generation that I try to, you know, pour into.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Wow. This man out here dropping knowledge right now. Man, well, like I have questions, but I know we
see the grays.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Listen. We need to go to another break. Let's get into the next music video from my man DJ Lost and Found. When we come back, we're gonna continue this dope interview with my man Adam. What you got lined up for us, Lost and Found?
I got this Rigor Mortis Cypher next. So bunch of spitters on this joint. A lot of the folks here already mentioned to that.
And can I just quickly in 10 seconds tell you how this video came? This video came about. All the guys who were in it, we all were going to be together at Kingdom Rising 2. So I got one of my videographers and I said, hey, we're probably, the 5 of us will probably never be together again for the next 10, 15 years. I was like, we have to shoot a video. So I found that spot. We shot this Rigor Mortis video directly outside of Kingdom Rising 2. And as soon as the video shoot was done, we walked right into Kingdom Rising 2.
What part of the BX was that?
What did you say?
What part of the BX was that?
That was on Gun Hill Road. So you'll see.
Okay.
Yep. So we were on East Gun Hill, and you'll see my part. You'll understand why. That you'll know.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide, Rigor Mortis video. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.
Rolling the dice, jackknife, I'm paving the road to pay the price. There's only one way to go, don't think twice. Oh, this can't be life, no, this can't be life. Jackpot, pulled in sevens, rolling the dice.
North Philly in the building.
Yo, hey yo, it's thick as Steve. Unity is different when you move with ease. Brother, please, knowledge from the kid could cost a couple G's. Barely scratching the surface, my dogs ain't never saw you fleas. It's zero tolerance, this where you get up and leave. Imagine that, the one who lacks discipline be the wackest. They say they sick, but ain't showing no symptoms, they systematic. If money come from selling your soul, then y'all can have it. Like imagine selling out for $1, homie, that's trash. Hey yo, I'm back at it like bad addicts with bad habits. They talk to smoke, but got bad lungs, they asthmatic. The enemy can meet me outside to get it in. When it's capped, I would snack back, y'all be fitted in. Hey yo, y'all know they say the streets talk. A weaker man would try to silence it and let the heat spark. A stronger man would listen, turn the wisdom into street smarts. Faith over fear, don't play with fire, it ain't safe over here.
G, dust. Chia. Yo, this is crazy. Straight out of the South Bronx. It's the commissioner. Let's go.
Yo, let's get on the same page. If I'm grinning, I'm scheming. Jesus is the way. And sage, don't get rid of no demon. My flesh, I'm trying to have it all dead. Are you Christian? And you getting your tarot card read. Red flag, brother, leaving them doors open. Gave him legal rights, them demons is gonna choke him. Way the bull reppin', he won't dump. In crunch time, when it's lunchtime, he gon' leaven the whole lump. How I'm moving, they wanna see me fall. I rep Christ, we ain't doing no Ouija board. Way I'm rapping, I'm getting them all startled. They liars, capping America, no marvel. And I ain't palming a knife, so don't bother. I'm coming with a marvelous light, I call Arbor. And you beefing exposed with no armor. Galatians say you reap what you sow, it's no karma.
Man,
listen, you can't have a cipher without Brooklyn on it. Conquest, talk to him. Yo, I rhyme in technicolor more than Joseph Dream Code mean flows. Respect the brother with the most obscene flows. Believe though I'm all things to all mankind. Though I'm set apart, I stretch the art to point you to Christ. So you reject the dark impulses that lie within. Crushing more than Mastodon riffs on Leviathan. Cause you're blind to sin. That has been your cancer, raging time and time again. When Christ has been the answer way before I've sinned. The commissioner of that made source. I'm breaking atoms on my P's and Q with the flow. I raise the standard for those kids who'd rather raise a cannon and stay abandoned and have no clue about what being a man is. They're trying to dismiss, I'd rather reach dudes. I'm trying to teach you that life in Christ eternal can't resurrect being a street dude. The story is my God is truly favored. He won, and I just gave away the plot like movie trailers. Y'all thought it was over? Nah, we gonna end with Kingdom. Bang. We got that Jesus music, but the knock more. Adam, let him know what it is. Yeah, it's your boy Adam. I'm back, I was gone quick. Rap equivalent of Don Chick. Christ handled the ransom right. We advanced the light. Let me make a briefcase. Best handle since Samsonite. Never did parody. I just give them clarity and daily storytell to point you where the glory dwell. Couldn't make this up, man. This is not L'Oreal. His grace abounds. It became greater the more we fell. You can't sort of sin like I can't sort of win. Wisdom I brought her in. When the doctrine quartering. West Palm ignored a grin. I just been full ordering and keep it in 100 million like Elon Nordegren. I'm a dying breed, not many telling the truth. I preach heaven outside and give them hell in the booth. Then shadow box these 16s. Take time to figure for this. In the hopes I'll catch bodies like Rigor Mortis.
Man. Gunshot.
Oh, I dropped the ball. No gunshots this week. No gunshots this week.
No. It's all right. It's all right. That's my
leave
own
that Bronx
personal
behind,
sound
you know?
effect.
Yeah,
It's my own personal sound effect. No, I'm just gonna start saying gunshot. That's it.
Well, a great
that's
story,
the effect.
A great story from Kingdom Rising 2 is, you know, we were right in the heart of it, and you know, they had 9 police officers at the school, and at one point when, you know, things were starting to build up before the show, these 9 officers, they're like, Brian, can we talk to you? I'm like, yeah, what's up? They pulled me to the side, and it was like, it felt like an intervention. They like surrounded me. They're like, Brian, we don't think you guys really understand where you are. I'm like, guys, I was like, I grew up in New York my whole life. I'm very aware of where I am. And I said, everybody who's here knows what they signed up for. And they were like, it's just really dangerous. I said, guys, doesn't East Gun Hill Road need Jesus too? And they started laughing. They're like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And what was dope was they were really annoyed early on because some of them had to get called in as like extra, you know, whatever security. And they were annoyed because they felt like, you know, there were a lot of people in, you know, a dangerous situation. After the show, they were coming up to me, giving me pounds. They were giving me hugs. They were like, yo, that was crazy. I never seen nothing like that. Bah, bah, bah. So it's just cool, like how the Spirit of God can sweep across the place and change the countenance of people, you know, and it was very
Amen. Wow. Amen. Amen. So now I wanted to ask you, when you first came up with the idea for Kingdom Rising, like where did that develop from?
Well, so I'm from Rockland County, which is about 20 minutes north of Manhattan in the Bronx. And there's really never been anything from a Christian hip hop vantage point in my county. And here we're right outside New York City, you know. So for me,
familiar.
Yeah.
My wife works at SUNY Rockland.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, it was like, man, like if I'm going to throw something, I'm going to start where I'm going to plant my flag where I am. So that's what I did, and it was cool. You know, it was what it was supposed to be. But my plan was always to take, you know, this gospel to the 4 corners of the earth. So for me, it was like, okay, I'll start in Rockland, then I'll go to, you know, I ended up doing it in the birthplace of hip hop. I'm targeting Philly for Kingdom Rising 3, and I'm setting up really simultaneously 3 kind of concert series: the Kingdom Rising series, which I'm going to bring to, cities across the country. This Vision that I'm doing in Brooklyn, I'm also going to do stuff like that, kind of pop-ups. And then I have 2 albums dropping, so I'm going to do my own national tour based on my 2 albums. So, I'm very blessed that my life has taken me all over the country. I've lived in New York for, I want to say, 37 of my 43 years. I lived in Denver for 4, and I lived in Portland, Oregon for 2. But because of the nature of my life, I've made friends all over the country. So I have a lot of friends who are pastors at churches. I have a lot of friends who are prominent business people around the country. So like, I'm just able to, like, through my connections, set up a lot of like events all over. So I'm doing it in a very organic fashion and just trying to take territory piece by piece. Like, I really try to shoot for the stars, but I also do it in a very systematically and strategic way, so that, what does the Bible say? It says, you should count the cost, and you should, make sure you can complete the task before you start building. So for me, it's like very important that if I have 1 year left on this earth, or I have 50 years left on this earth, that I complete my race, and I run this to completion. So like, for me, everything I do, like, is very, very, very calculated.
Wow. I love that. I love the approach that you're bringing to it. It's almost like a lot of people get into music and they only focus on the music. What I'm hearing from you, and I don't know if you guys are paying attention to that, is that he's putting together a full business plan. He's approaching it as if he started a business selling, I don't know, vacuums or something like that, right? And I'm just throwing something out there because he's approaching it from the perspective of, I have a business plan, so I'm going to give you dope music, because my man is already, you've already seen the skills behind the mic, right? It's official. He's got a business plan to organically grow and use his natural network of being growing up basically in the church, and now he's able to use those connections. Did you say your parents were pastors, or
No, no, no,
they
no,
were just
no.
Christians?
They're just strong. Yeah, just strong Christians, and train away in the Lord, and in the end, He'll come back to it. And I came back to it ultimately, and I would be disrespecting the Lord if I didn't use 25 years and 7 different careers and running companies and starting companies and having all these prominent executive roles and all this. If I didn't bring that to this subculture, it would be a complete disservice to this culture. And I try to be a very selfless person. So like, I really aim to, give people opportunities any which way I can. I'm a big supporter. If I believe in you, if I really believe you're doing it for the Lord, I'm always going to support in any way that I can. And for me, it's like, when I came into this, the artistry side was always, for me, was just the Trojan horse. Like, I was always just going to use the artistry to leverage myself into launching a company that has different arms, from concert series, which you're starting to see, merchandising, which, I want to do on a grand scale, but, like, that's something that's going to come later. Having a label where I raise up my own artists, whether I executive produce or I ghostwrite or I just manage them or whatever. I'm going to launch a podcast. I want to be, TV and radio and movies. So it's like, for me, I've been in multimedia in various ways besides the other careers I've had. So like, for me, the artistry, I love it, and I'll do it for as long as the Lord tells me to do it. But really, it's ultimately to just build a foundation to launch a company that hopefully will become something that can really make waves in hip hop for the glory of Christ. Really, is what that's the mission statement.
So that's absolutely needed in our space, because we don't have a foundation in CHH. So we need more structure, more business owners to actually come in and lay those foundations, be those pillars. You know what I mean? Like next week we have Trick coming on from Holy Culture Radio. Now we're on Sirius XM. You know what I mean? Another pillar that we needed in order to become more. We're already legitimate, but like to the world, I would say.
Right.
So my question is, what are some of the other areas of business that you've been in? Because you kind of spoke on it and touched on it, but that you're bringing this expertise into to build this media group that you have.
Yeah, well, so, first and foremost, what I've learned after 7 different careers is that business is business, right? So, like, the principles apply across the board, the main principles. But, even before the skill sets that I've developed, I try to be a really sincere and genuine person. And I think that people see that, and I treat everybody the same way. I've had many famous friends, many famous athletes as friends, famous musicians like for my whole life. So like celebrity means nothing to me. I have friends who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I've had 11 clients that were billionaires. Like money, prestige, all that different stuff that is provocative to the world means literally nothing to me. And that's why I'm all things to all mankind. I've been around rich, poor, black, white, old, young, Christian, non-Christian. And so it's like, I really feel like the Lord has given me a gift to meet people where they're at. And because of that, because of my sincerity of heart, people tend to really believe in me and believe in the call on God's life, on my life. So I had a 10-year career in broadcasting. When I was a junior in college at Manhattan College, I put the sports together for the 6 and 11 p.m. news at ABC in New York. And what was really cool about that was I'm 21. And that particular year, the Knicks made the finals. That was the year that they had, Spreewell and Houston and Candy and those guys. And the New Jersey Devils won the Stanley Cup, and I covered both teams. So imagine being 21, you're covering your favorite team of all time in the Knicks. And then even though I'm a Ranger fan, being in the locker room with those guys on the Devils and covering their Stanley Cup run and stuff like that was super dope. So that was my junior year. And what happened was my senior year, I was up for valedictorian. I had a 4.0 going. And so I told myself, I had been working since I was 12 years old. I'm like, you know what? My senior year of college, I'm not going to work. I'm going to try to win valedictorian. I'm just going to focus on my grades. And what happened was they had a job fair, and God is so cool. I started to drive away from the school. But the flyer for the job fair was on my windshield and so I'm like, so I had to pull over to take it off because it was like flapping and annoying me. And I looked at it and I just felt like God was like, you got to go. So I turned around and I drove back to the college. I went to this job fair, and Manhattan College is predominantly known for engineering. I was in broadcasting. So I asked the host of the thing, I said, do you have any companies that are in, broadcasting or TV, radio? And they go, there's one. So I said, okay, great. That's great, because I just want to get out of here. So I walked up, and it was the vice president of a small company at the time. But even though they were small, they managed 3,000 video signals globally. They had HBO, they had ESPN Sports, and all these different things. So I talked to the vice president, and he goes, I really like you. I want you to come work for me. I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm up for valedictorian. It's my senior year. I was like, I'll meet with you. So I go in the next day to the city, and I was like, what are you looking for? And in my head, I walked in, and I'm like, if it's like a small scale commitment, I'm like, I'll do it. He's like, well, I need you to work like 70 hours weeks. So is that doable? And I'm like, well, I was like, if I stack 18 credits on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which I did, I went to school from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I did 16 to 20-hour days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for my senior year. I ended up coming in, I was salutatorian. But what happened was by the time I was graduating, 8 months later, I was already entrenched. And within a year and a half, I became, supervisor of my department, and the rest was history. I, ended up managing DirecTV's collection facilities around the country. I traveled full time. Like, I just had a very good broadcasting career. What happened was after 10 years, all my peers were 30 years older than me. And they were like, I'm 27 working 100-hour weeks. And they were like, Brian, get out. And I was like, I looked at the 3 or 4 of them that were telling me that. And I was like, I believe you. And I got out. And so since then I was in PR. I ran a private company doing custom weather protection work out in the Hamptons, all high profile clientele. I did account management. I did sales, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I've been in pretty much almost every sector. And then I've owned my own basketball program for 10 years. I've trained about 800 kids. I have kids that I taught the game that now play on college scholarships. So, yeah, I've been working 100-hour weeks for 24 years. I'm the offspring of two workaholics. They're both in their 70s and they still crank away. So I blame it on my parents. But I love it. I sleep 2 to 3 hours a night my whole life, and I'm fine with it.
Man, well, we should talk offline, bro, because I'm a business owner as well. So we'll definitely connect offline about this.
No
But
doubt.
man, just to hear all of the levels that you're involved in, multi-business owner, super successful in media, um, and you said you train basketball as well. Did I hear that correctly?
Yep.
So
So
then
I was born. Yeah, I was born into a
you got a
basketball
jump shot,
family.
is what you're telling me?
I was
Looks like
really nice at one point. I'm kind of washed now. I can still put. If you put me, I'm 40, turning 44. If you put me against 30 and older, I cook. I try to play
So,
now with the 22-year-olds, and it's like my
so that
craftiness keeps me in it, but I can't. My body can't. I can't
they
keep
got
up.
knees, bro. They got
so
knees.
so
Like
did Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes get it wrong?
I never,
'Cause-
ironically, I never had a good vertical, but I was lightning fast. And I was born with a basketball in my hand. My dad is like a legendary college and high school coach for 55 years or whatever. And I played at a high level. I played on the #1 AAU program in the country my senior year of high school, the Riverside
Wow.
of Harlem. There was a national team of 12 and a citywide team. I was on the citywide team. The national team had Elton Brand, Lamar Odom, Ron Artest, Eric Barkley. I played with Jeremy Logan. I played against a lot of really good players, a lot of guys who played in the pros. And so I could still ball out, but I love teaching. I love, teaching the game to kids. And it's one of my greatest joys, quite frankly.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Now I noticed you didn't name drop who your dad is, so I don't know if we want to
Yeah, I
keep that
mean,
on the low.
I mean, most people wouldn't probably have heard of him. My dad, he was a star at the King's College, which used to be in Westchester County in New York,
Okay,
and then I think
okay.
they're in the Empire State Building now. But he was a star player for them, and then he became their head coach of the college at 26, which is obviously unheard of to be a D2 coach
Yeah.
at 26.
Right.
Won some championships with them. Then he coached at Pleasantville High School in Westchester for 32 years, and he has the best winning percentage in history where they hold the Section 1 championships. He went 9-1, and then he spent the last 10 years at St. Thomas Aquinas College. And so then after, 52 years or whatever, they moved to Florida last year. And I'm like, all right, Dad. I'm like, you're 73. You're going to like go down and play golf? He's like, yeah, bro, I'm done. I was like, all right. 6 weeks after they moved there, he got a varsity job. He can't control himself. He loves it. My dad he's an X's and O's genius. And, what's really cool about basketball. So my dad and I we did not have a relationship. He was a workaholic, so he wasn't around much. And then by the time I was in high school, we were oil and water. So we didn't get along, and we really didn't have any relationship for most of my young adult and into my adult life. Then about 7 or 8 years, we just kind of both, I think, looked in the mirror and said, man, life is short. And we started to, be cordial. And then we started to be able to hang out, very, very small fragments with minimal talking. And then it just built and built and built. And what's really cool is like basketball, when I got into coaching 10 years ago, I told my dad, I don't want you to get involved. I don't want to be Glenn Jensen's son. I want to be Brian Jensen. So if I had pulled on my dad's card, I probably would have been way further down the line coaching. But I wanted to build my own legacy. And to my dad's credit, he didn't get involved. But what's really cool is that early on basketball, I think that it was a source of contention because that was his thing. Like, he's a legendary coach, and now his son and my dad's a very competitive person. So now that I started coaching and actually being very successful very quickly, it was kind of a source of contention. So when basketball would come up, we'd end up like kind of bickering. And what happened is over time, I kind of started being arrogant about it and being more like, let me be subservient to my dad in that regard and show him humility and teachability. And my dad looked at it like, wow, like my son has kind of taken the mantle.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, it was like we met, and now it's like, you know, we talk basketball, and you know, I'm a varsity coach at a prestigious high school. I can't name it, but a prestigious high school, and you know, I call him and we talk, and he watches the games on live stream because I coach in Jersey. He's down in Florida, and he'll be like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so like basketball, what was once one of the main sources of contention between my dad and I, has become really the tie that binds, which is really a cool testimony.
That's hot.
Wow. Wow. Praise God, man. That's amazing. Man, listen, I have so appreciated everything that we've been able to glean from you from this episode, man. Like, you have definitely been one of the best interviews we've had.
Praise God.
You spoke from a perspective of telling us your story, coming into CHH, coming into Christ to a certain degree, or coming back, I should say. You told us the perspective of, you know, bringing structure to the business, which a lot of places lack. Like, there's a lot of talent in CHH. There is not a lot of structure, and I think that's in music in general. To be honest with you, um, you know, talent and structure don't always go together. So it's nice when you can see someone that brings both to the table. You know, and that's why I believe you've had so much success in a short amount of time, you know, and it's just going to continue to grow. And, you know, just so you know, man, we're going to be here to support you through all of it, bro. We're definitely going to be here to rock with you. Um, and listen, let the people know what's going on for you next, how they can contact you and continue to follow you.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to say is that, because, you know, I'm starting to get known in this subculture, but, you know, most people don't know who I am. And I think that, you know, one of the things that's probably hard for people to grasp is that, you know, because they don't know me, it's like they don't know who I am as a person, but like I am truly a team player, right? So like for me, I never wake up and I'm like, what can I do to just be about ATTAM or be about Brian Jensen? You know, like for me, I'm always like, if you talk to the people that know me, they'd be like, you know, he really is about blessing everybody around him. And I don't say that to get a pat on the back. I more say that like, you know, in what I've been building over the last year and a half, whatever you want to call it, it's like I have gotten some, you know, like people that aren't particularly fans at face value of me. And I get it, you know, like not everybody's going to like you or whatever. But like what I want people to understand is that like everything that I'm building is for the benefit of the whole subculture. So it's like for me, if I'm successful in what I'm trying to build, it will only benefit the whole culture, and it'll give opportunity. Even if you just take Christ Kingdom Rising as an example, it's like I was able to give a lot of artists the opportunity to perform in front of the biggest crowd of their lives. And I don't want anything in return for that. I'm simply saying, like, use that as an example that like they believe in me, and because of that, because I believe in them and I put them on the roster, they were blessed with that opportunity. And like I just want to use this platform to give opportunity to a lot of people. So what do I have coming? I have a 5th EP dropping this month, hopefully next Friday. That's the plan. It's actually a collab EP. So these first 4 were mine. This one is a collaboration with another entity. So, you know, I'm 50% of the puzzle, but we're targeting next Friday. I also have a big show I'm putting on. You got Co Campbell, Will Cata, Paito, Saga, and Kilanda, and myself performing on Friday, March 24th in Brooklyn, Gateway City Church. It's going to be phenomenal. Really cool atmosphere. It's going to be a totally different feel than Kingdom Rising. Kingdom Rising was in a massive venue with a huge roster and 600 people. This is a shortened roster, all elite artists, holds about 400, super state-of-the-art build out. This place is really cool. It's going to have a very VIP feel to it. So if you are in the tri-state area on Friday the 24th, you are absolutely not going to want to miss this. It's going to be a very, very special night. So more concerts, more music for sure. Definitely plan to launch a podcast in the next few months. And then ultimately, you know, I have actually 3 or 4 other really, really, really cool things that I don't want to let out of the bag. But, you know, every time I'm like, okay, Lord, I reach my bandwidth, I'm not taking on any more projects. He brings me one. And I haven't learned the ability to say no, but I have some really, really cool stuff I've been working on that's going to be launched. You'll just see every week I launch new stuff or I roll out new videos and stuff. That's kind of been my goal this year so far, is like every week roll out a new music video or a new venture or a new EP or a new concert series or whatever. So yeah, if you just tap in, you see ATTAM Official is my handle on IG, streaming platforms, YouTube, video. I typically put videos out for all my music. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I just, you know, I appreciate guys like you, because it's like, for me, you know, when you guys give me the opportunity to share my heart and my vision, you know, my hope is always that at least one person who didn't know me before knows me after, and they can kind of join my journey. That's kind of how I look at it. It's like not my journey that people are getting to watch. It's a journey that we're all on together. And I just feel very privileged to be a part of this subculture. And, you know, I just want to play my role. You know, I coach, and it's like I ask my players to play their role to excellence. And it's like, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, you know?
Right. That's what's up, man. We appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, so listen, this is what we're going to do, man. We're about to go into the second hour of the show. This is normally where things get a little crazy, because we go into topics, trending topics, things that affect the culture, music, you know, what's hot in the streets right now and what's going on. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to be talking about Morant, Armed and Dangerous. We're going to talk about, you know, Lil Wayne actually said that he's better than Jay-Z. That's going to be a discussion. Chris Rock comedy special. We're going to touch on that and more. So listen, when we come back, y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide. Stay tuned and stay blessed.
Yeah. I see evil coming at me, but disgrace all around me. Walls closing in, but there's angels behind me. And to be honest, I'll be honest, ain't no fear in my heart, except the fear of my God. Not even in the lion's den. Whoa, favor carries me all throughout the lion's den. Ain't no fear in my heart, except the fear of my God. Not even in the lion's den. Whoa, favor carries me all throughout the lion's den. Ooh, yeah. Trappings of this life, a mirage. I'm rapping for my scars and nights up at the Taj. Laps to the bar, lighting up cigars. Never hyped off the cards, just wiping a couple large. The world was ours, we had all types of gods. And fights in a car, reaching a height of no regard. We drank hard till losing sight of the stars. And booked flights to better dodge for indictments on a charge. So many facts to unpack as I witnessed. He gave me the mind of Christ after blacking out like eclipses. We speak and act and we stack it up to the litmus. Whatever we lack, we just bring it all back to the scriptures. I never cap, I just flip whatever the script is. So what's a plaque or cracking onto some hit list? The racks, the stream stacked on his beam has no eternal value, that's exactly what it means. Whoa, favor carries me all throughout the lion's den. Ain't no fear in my heart, except the fear of my God. Not even in the lion's den. Whoa, favor carries me all throughout the lion's den. Ooh, yeah. My defiance set off sirens, cause all tyrants get louder with our silence. Not rocket science, iron sharpens iron. That's why my alliances surround me with a bunch of lions.
This world looks at face value, but there's more to you. Especially operating out His grace that's afforded you. A white Christian rapper, age 42, add a little fortitude. Amazing what the Lord could do. That's the sort of view I hope to pull the youth. I'm full of truth in the booth, but y'all still aloof. Get it through your thick skull, I gotta pull a tooth. To live as Christ, die as gain, that means I'm bulletproof. So it's easy to hold the vision. Stopped and told to listen till I got bold with wisdom. The whole system had me rotting a cold prison. I dropped that old religion on spot, my soul was risen.
Evil coming at me, but disgrace all around me. Walls closing in, but there's angels behind me. And if we honest, I'll be honest. Ain't no fear in my heart, except the fear of my God. Not even in the lion's den. Whoa, favor carries me all throughout the lion's den. Ain't no fear in my heart, except the fear of my God. Not even in the lion's den. Whoa, favor carries me all throughout the lion's den. Oh yeah. Yo, YBH.
Tell them that we in the last days. Accountable, everybody be held. Please do not follow the ways of the spell. It gets into hell. Gotta get rid of that bad weight. The black high, yeah, they dropping like flies. I drop a tip for the ones who done died. Look, I don't listen to the news. Bible on the dash, got the devil mad. Holy Spirit be the truth. Got a wife now, had the pipe down, wide awake, I don't snooze. I smell a lot of lies in the air, propaganda, I won't fear. Who gon' man up, yeah that's rare. In the time where they following orders, I'm a sheep on the way to the slaughter. These the end times Christ was talking about, he fulfilled the whole Torah. The nerve of them bringing up Horus. He ain't dead what my God did, he ain't rose from the dead and lived. Tell them that we in the last days. Accountable, everybody be held. Please do not follow the ways of the spell, it gets into hell. Gotta get rid of that bad weight. The black eye, yeah, they dropping like flies. I drop a tip for the ones who done died. I pray that they fly. Don't make me show you how it turned the way. When you see him walking in the clouds, man, he won't survive that way.
They call me the golden child. Ironically, the road paved with gold. Up in the heavens, the devil ain't low. If you know, then you know. Gotta watch out, led by the spirit when I pop out. We fight not against flesh and blood, or physical or spiritual. Whenever the opt's out, don't opt out. For Christ, I'ma get it on. Whole armor guard, yeah, I put it on. Born in a boogie and my hoodie on. Whole place Babylon, who could he want? Don't nobody won't listen. Fell in love with the wrong mission. And the serpent still hissing. Yeah, the serpent still hissing.
Seems like a strong delusion got sent to the eyes. Ain't no way you see the truth and still believe those lies.
Tell them that we in the last days.
Accountable, everybody be held. Please do not follow the ways of the spell, it gets into hell. Gotta get rid of that bad weight. The black eye, yeah, they dropping like flies. I drop a tip for the ones who done died. I pray that they fly. Don't make me show you how it turned the way. When you see him walking in the clouds, man, he won't survive that way.
Y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide in the building. As we come back, man. If y'all just now tuning in, we had one of the best interviews we've literally had on the show with my man Adam. So much knowledge, so many jewels he dropped, so many things to just not only be entertained and understand his story, but actually to learn from on how to just be structured and how to move forward and be business minded as well as talented. All right. But as we move on to the rest of the show, big question that was posed or statement that was posed over the week. Young Tunchi, aka the Carter, aka Lil Wayne, actually went on record to say that he said no disrespect to Jay-Z, but I'm better. Woo. And listen, If anybody was gonna say it and actually have a case to just be straight lyricist, straight rapper, I ain't saying that he is better or he's not better. But if you look at his body of work, his following that he has, especially in the southern states and out west, even in New York, listen, he has a case. He has a case, right? Now, again, this is going to be one of those conversations where there really is no definitive answer because one, it's a matter of preference.
Yep.
Mhm.
Two, it's a matter of preference, right? Because at the end of the day, people in the Northeast, such as us, we tend to like our own type of music, what we grew up with. We tend to follow Jay, Nas, you know what I'm saying? Fat Joe, rappers that are here locally, right? Whereas somebody from Louisiana, you know what I mean? They gonna definitely lean towards Lil Wayne because that's the home team, right? But at the same time, I want to hear y'all thoughts. How do y'all feel about Lil Wayne stating he's better than Jay?
Go to the rapper first. Go to the rapper first.
Well, when I have discussions like this, whether it's talking about athletes or rappers or anything, it's like, it is, it is subjective, right? Because like you said, if you take somebody from, say, Brooklyn and you take somebody from Louisiana, most likely they're going to both have, differences of opinion. But also, what is the metric for him saying he's better? Like, I'd love to hear the context. Is he better at freestyling? Is he better at making records for performances? Is he you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many different. The way I look at it is this, and I actually have like detached from Jay-Z. I was the biggest Jay-Z fan my whole life. Like, I like everything. And now, once you really grow in the Lord, it's hard to be a massive Jay-Z fan, but
Right.
that's a whole nother conversation. But I look at it like this. Hot 97 is without a doubt the most influential hip hop station in the world. It's in the mecca of hip hop. It's what it is. So whatever Hot 97's ringing off, that's what's really, really hot. Summer Jam, which Hot 97 puts on, is the biggest summer event and biggest concert event of the year for hip hop. It just is, you know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z was the headliner for like 15 straight years. No one will ever do that ever again. So it's like, it's hard to debate that, I agree with you. I think that, Lil Wayne is phenomenal. And I think that he does have a case against anybody because of his talent. But if you're just putting bodies of work, I really don't think there's anybody who could put a body of work over the last 25 years up against Jay-Z. I don't know.
So I would believe you, but you also have to remember, right, that Lil Wayne has been around almost as long. Because remember, Lil Wayne started out as a hot boy.
Yep, absolutely.
And that was in my, I want to say, I was in high school when they were hot, right?
Same.
Because they came out, they had he came out right behind Juvenile.
Yep.
Right. This was at the height of Juvenile's career.
And
when
Corrupt,
Lil Wayne,
right? Corrupt was cranking, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I was going to college in Indiana at the time that they were really cranking on a basketball, to play basketball.
Right.
And out there in Indiana, Juvenile was going crazy out there. So that whole camp, when I was a freshman in college in 97, they were killing. And I was the only New Yorker in the whole college. There were like 3,000 people. I was the only person from New York. And I'm out there, you know what I'm saying? That was when Biggie had just died, obviously. And like, Puff Daddy and the family tour came through. And, me and a bunch of my boys out at the school went or whatever where the Pacers played or whatever. But Juvenile, man, he was killing. And his whole camp.
Yeah, he was.
You know what I'm saying? I remember that time.
Man. So listen, it's crazy because like Lil Wayne has been dropping So many bars, yo. Selah is a fool,
Yo,
bro.
Selah's so cap. Yo, he's so cap.
So you the bars behind Selah, the corner.
I wish I was. Yo, in my opinion, I'll be honest with you. I'll make a public statement. I think he's, in my opinion, he's the best Christian rapper in the world, in my opinion. And I'm a little biased because he's one of my closest friends. But if somebody said to me, you have to vote in who you think is the best Christian rapper in the world, Selah would be my pick.
Listen, he's definitely up there. Like if you put him bar for bar, again, there's only a handful of people that's in that conversation.
Well, I said that because I'm his ghostwriter. So.
Okay, you know what?
Got that.
You got that. That was good. That was good. Man. But
okay.
But okay. Yeah. Go ahead, LNF. Let's see what you got to say.
So first and foremost, I do in some way I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Because Adam, I like your response, but even more than that, a dude that I appreciate and really look up to, Nucci Rayo, dude who's wrote records for Puff. Like this dude really doing it. He was like, Wayne has a point. And I was like, man, because right off the bat, I'm like, I'm one of these dudes. I stopped listening to Wayne probably in like 07, 08. I feel like he got real silly. He went from super lyrical and was killing everything, dedication to. I was in college at the time. You was literally hearing that everywhere you walked on campus. He really was killing it. But then he went to the la 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 like a lollipop stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to little by little get off the train. So I'm a little biased. I mean, because I feel like he got silly. And during that time where people were celebrating him for having like 100 features in 1 year, I wasn't feeling most of it. I thought a lot of it was play. You know what I mean? So a lot like you said, Adam, depending on what we're talking about. If we're talking about lyricism, I'm sorry. I don't think a lot of his stuff was top tier for a while. I can't speak to now because I'm not listening to it now. And then, when you talk about Jay, bro, he's been pretty consistent. I gotta say, Jay has been pretty consistent. So, the fact that you got these two going, I would be honest to put Nas up there because he's actually making really relevant music now that makes sense. So if we're talking about longevity, that's probably who I would put up there. But I also have a bias because I'm a Nas dude. So,
okay, listen, Mr. C, let's hear it. What are your thoughts, bro? I mean, we're talking Lil Wayne versus Jay-Z.
I'm going to base my comment off something that LNF said about someone as legendary as Nas. I don't think Wayne is the artist to be coming at Jay-Z. He's not on that level. I'm just sorry, he's not on that level. I mean, if Wayne would have been, I'm just going to come out and say it, the non-serve Wayne, you know what I'm saying? If he would have stayed on that path, I could say, okay. LNF just said that his boy said he has a case.
Right.
But I ain't on that wavelength. Especially after when I was like years ago when I checked out the blueprint.
Yeah.
I don't,
Blueprint's crazy. Blueprint is crazy.
Wayne has never done anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Not even, like I said, early on, I was a fan.
Let's talk
about you about to get desperate.
Listen, what about the Carter though?
No, I'm not saying that he's not a great artist. You know what I'm saying?
Hear what I'm saying though. Mm-hmm. The Blueprint, definitely one of Jay's best albums, hands down. The whole series.
Right.
Lil Wayne had the Carter though, and the Carter is a legendary album as well. That was a series. I think he did like 3 or 4 volumes of that.
He did 5, I think.
He did 5. I mean, admittedly, 4 or 5, he kind of lost me when he went that far with it. But
are you saying Carter 1 was the best one?
I don't know if it was the best one, but
I'd go Carter 2 as the best.
I was
Carter
gonna say
3
the
was
Carter
probably
2 was
most
probably the
popular or
best one.
something. But
Yeah, in my opinion, I think the Carter 2 was probably the best one for sure. Right, but what the point that I'm making is that he's got legendary music. He's got he's got the time frame. He's been in the game since he was 15. He's probably pushing 40 pretty soon. I don't know his exact age, which I could Google it, but he came in the game at 15 and has been relevant every year since.
And maybe
It's
it's
never.
me. Maybe it's me because
Mhm.
for the most part, born and raised in New York. I was born in the Bronx, lived in Brooklyn. Grew up on Long Island, and I'm engulfed with anywhere from Naughty by Nature to Leaders of the New School to Poor Righteous Teachers to X Clan to Brand Nubian. I'm just throwing names out there. So
Yeah.
maybe I haven't listened to enough Wayne for reasons like this. Obviously, to Biggie, to Jay, and then on the West Coast to NWA, to Dr. Dre, to Snoop, Ice Cube, and Lynch Mob. That's what I was engulfed in. So that's
So
why it's hard for me to accept that from him. Like if Snoop said, "Yo, I'm better than Wayne," I'd be like, "Okay, that's
so
the
here,
bait I can accept."
I'm gonna give y'all a couple of let's because right now we're going on opinion, right? But let's look at a couple of facts. Definitely Jay-Z's worth more, right? But when
Right.
you talk about, I seen in the comments, Prophet Link said that Jay-Z's had greater impact, and I'm going to say I don't know. I'm going to challenge that a bit, and here's why, right? Because you look at the impact. So Jay-Z is obviously a star. Lil Wayne's a star, right? Jay-Z has made stars out of Rihanna, Lil Wayne, and a handful of other people. But
Kanye.
those are two major stars. Say again.
Kanye.
It was agreed.
That's what I said.
that wasn't
Oh,
Jay-Z.
Rihanna. Yeah,
That was Dame Dash.
Rihanna and Kanye.
I'm
Kanye
bugged.
was Dame Dash. Come on, stop it.
Listen, Jay-Z was there. They was president and VP. Listen, the whole
I mean, if those
behind
are the
it.
names. But if we got to
Listen,
talk about Lil Wayne's side too,
hold
bro.
on. I am. This is what I'm
Come
going to
on.
say. Lil Wayne brought to the game Drake and Nicki Minaj.
That's true.
But
I
people
think he
could
wins that
argue
one.
and say that was Baby. That was people could argue the Baby the same way people could argue Dame Dash, right? Both of them have had major impact and brought in artists that have had major impact. Specifically, I'll say Drake and Nicki ran at what was the Mount Rushmore of the 2010s? Was
He's still
Nicki,
there.
Drake, and Drake is still on top, right? Kanye, listen, if Kanye wasn't going crazy, he'd still be on top as a producer, which really he's never fell off with just producing. He just falls off personally that make you don't want to listen to him no more, right?
I'm still listening. I don't care.
But you understand what I'm saying? The talent level is genius level talent. When you talk about, longevity, listen, both of them been in the game for 20 plus years, easy, right? I just looked up Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne been in the game 25 years. He's 40 years old now. So
Right.
he's got
Right.
25 years in the game, just like Jay. So when you look at the impact and the longevity, they are close. They are close. Now, when it comes to who's made more money, Jay-Z wins all day. Jay-Z married Beyonce. Jay-Z's winning all day, right? Lil Wayne, unfortunately, I think what the biggest thing that's hurt Lil Wayne is that he became an addict when it came to scissor and weed and other stuff and taking and pills, right? And I think that really hurt him, but it never hurt his impact on the game because unfortunately, I think Prophet Link said it as well. He made junkie rap a thing. You know what I mean? He really did. He made junkie rap a thing. He might as well. He might
Which
as
he
well
got
be.
from Devin the Dude and or Currency. Just saying.
Say it again.
I said which he got from Currency or Devin the Dude. Like they was doing that stuff before Wayne.
I mean, True, but Lil Wayne made it popular. He had the impact, right? So, you know what I mean. He might as well have been like that dude that used to run around New York City, MC Crackhead. I can't remember his name right now. Um,
I'm trying to think. What's the joke?
no, it was a real dude that used to run around Harlem in the Bronx who would run up to your car rapping. He even came out with a song, and his name was something Crackhead, but he had bars. And the reason only reason I know of him because he ran up on me one time and started spitting bars.
He watched you.
Yo, he said his name was Crackhead. Jesus, I'm gonna have to look it up. When we go to the next song, I'm gonna look that up. And then when we come back, let's do it. But listen, I want y'all to get in the comments. Everybody besides Prophet Link, because he over here taking over in the comments.
All this conversation did was make me feel very old when you started saying Wayne was 15, now he's 40. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, what's the math on me then? Holy cow. Crazy. Feels like yesterday and a million years ago he was 15.
Man, you know what I mean? But just, that's just talking about the level of impact he's had. He's never not been relevant when it comes to hip hop. Not ever.
So how do we get Jesus to these guys? That's the question, It's like I just want to see some of these guys come to salvation, man.
Listen, I still think Kanye is a great
Crackhead. That's his name.
Okay, I think I heard that name.
Eastside Crackhead. Yo, and he had bars. He would flame all of y'all, except maybe Adam. But he would flame a lot. I don't know. Of people.
Eastside Crackhead, I definitely wouldn't take him on. I'll tell you that. I'd be like, I forfeit.
He's motivated for the wrong reasons, but he's motivated. So listen, let's get into some music. When we come back, I am going to get into the invest in yourself tip, and then we also going to talk about Morant being armed and dangerous. Y'all know what it is, man. LNF, take us away, man. Stay tuned.
Hey. Hey. Yeah.
Hey, 200-300 beats going crazy.
Yeah, you know the God I serve is real. If you could just see who I was. The fruit of my labor was work of a Satan. You know that I called it a dub. The filth of sin surrounded a man that had me covered in mud. Now I'm not expert. The flesh of my flesh gon' always be covered in blood. The shots from Satan, it would never stop. If I'm a church or I'm in the block, you know I worship, dance forever. RP David, RP Pop, arms up like it's my sock. You know how I'm coming, you know how I rock. He be the shepherd and we be the flock. All praise to God, like it or not. You know they waiting for me and they praying for me, just pointing at me when I fail. Knowing this walk ain't for the saints, homie, but the sinners, so I'm gonna prevail. You know when they crucified and brutalized in Jesus Christ with the nails. This is another lesson on his resurrection, homie, how his love never fails. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Hey, yeah, hey. Yo, we pray for the gangsters walking the streets and then knowing it's truly a spark. Cause the depression is real, they faking a smile and their world is falling apart. When they be asking me how do I believe what I can't see from the start. Cause I got faith like Noah, I don't see the rain, but I'm constantly building the ark. The spirit of God, it walk in me. Don't let just anyone talk to me. No, we ain't perfect, we walk funny, but I'm thankful what he done for me. I keep it 100 stacks, Christ gang, as a fact. We don't smoke, never that. If we did, never pack. All glory to the G.O.D. He sent his son for you and me. The proof is in what he do with me. Put saved in my eulogy. Take a knee for the king, but I walk for the lost. I take a knee for the king, but I walk for the lost. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him.
That was hard.
Yeah.
Rizz, baby.
Wow. Rizz goes in. Rizz definitely goes in.
Where's he from?
BX, from what I understand.
That record's hard.
He slept on, bro. I saw CHH too.
Love it.
Man, man. So listen, I want to give you the invest in yourself tip of the week. For those of you new to the show, this is where I tend to give you either financial advice or just personal advice for you to grow personally or in business. All right. So this week, we're going to talk about getting in position. Right. That's the tip for this week. Get in position. What am I talking about? Well, first I'm gonna give you a quick story, or just some quick news. If you've been on the news, you recently see that Tyler Perry and Byron Allen are looking to purchase BET. Right. Now, when you're purchasing something that large, you're not necessarily buying the company, but you're buying a majority interest so that you have control over the company. Companies that large, you're basically buying into them by buying enough preferred stock, right? But in order to do that, you have to be at a certain level of success, and you have to have a certain level of money, right? And when we're talking about being able to do something like that, you actually have to be in position to win, right? Right now, if let's be honest, if the opportunity came for me to purchase BET, I am not in position to do so. Here's why: I don't currently have the structure to do so. I'm not even looking to get something on that level. But as we build the Rise Up brand, we'll get there one day, right? That's the goal. But in order for you to win in life and you to win in your business, you want to be in position to win even when you're not in the game. So, first off, how do you prepare to win? Well, first off, it's like sports, right? Everybody sees you during game time shooting threes, shooting your free throws, playing defense. And you do it so well, it looks like it's natural. What they don't see is that you're preparing when no one's looking. You're in the gym. You're working out. You're running. You're lifting weights. You're studying the game. The same thing applies in business, right? You're studying the market. You're studying your competition. You're learning how to do social media at a high level. You're studying the game and you're preparing for when no one is looking so that when you do present yourself, you will be able to present yourself in a way that's very structured. And my man Adam mentioned earlier today is that he came to the game with a business plan. He didn't just say, "Yo, I'm gonna throw out a mixtape and see what happens." He actually sat down. He had his business plan put together by trademarking his name. He put together, I think you said, an LLC or an incorporation,
An S corp.
an S corp, right?
Yep.
He put together his S corp. He's moving with structure and in a time frame. He's giving himself a time frame to hit certain goals, right? So he put together structure with talent and with preparation to get to the next level, right? He's got in position so that he can grow. And in the comments earlier, someone said, "Yo, he's probably one of the people doing it the most right now in CHH. And he's only been here 2 years. How did he do that so quickly? It's because he got in position and he got structure together. Also, as you're getting in position, one of the key factors that people don't talk about enough is you have to put together a winning team. You have to have a team. There is no man that is an island. There is absolutely no man that can do every single thing by themselves. Can you get started by yourself? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you can't do everything. If you wanted to be an actor, you can't be the actor, hold the camera, clean up after, set up the script, and do everything and expect it to flow in a manner that would allow everything to happen in a great way. It just doesn't work, right? You have to have people on your team that can do certain things. A lot of times, and I learned this from President Trump, who we all love and hate at the same time, you got to hire people smarter than you. Hire people better than you to take certain things off the table so that one, it can grow to another level that you couldn't take it to, and two, so you can focus on what you're talented at, right? put together your winning team. And what I've learned to the hard way is, thank God I haven't had to do this yet, but you've got to know when to hire and fire, right? Got to know when to hire and fire. Ren, who was on our show last week, he said, listen, hire slowly, fire quickly. I was like, ooh, that's some good advice right there. Because you want to take time before you let people in your circle and help you grow. You want to vet them. You want to make sure that they have the right personality to fit with the rest of your team and yourself. You want to make sure that what they're bringing to the team, they actually have the talent to do it. And you want to see what their track record is, right? Because anybody can say, yo, I can do social media. I can do websites. I can produce beats. I'm a rapper. Okay, let me see what you got. Let me check out your social media. Let me hear some of the songs you got. Okay, let me see what businesses you've built already. Let me check your track record, right? If it doesn't add up, I might have to pass on that. Good luck. I don't have no ill will towards you, but you can't be a part of my winning team because you're not able to produce what you said you would do. Amen. Praise God. Listen, you've got to be able to put yourself in the best position to win. Now, once you have all of this together, you've been preparing in the gym, you've got your team, you've got your structure. Now you've got to move as if you're already successful, right? There's a phrase that we use, and I don't necessarily love the phrase. People say fake it till you make it, right? But I prefer a different phrase. I prefer act as if. It's a difference in the way you say it. See, fake it till you make it. When you say that, what you're saying is that I'm really not this, so I'm just going to act like I am. But if you say act as if, you say, look, I'm going to act like I'm successful because I'm going to be successful. I'm acting like I'm already there because I can see myself there. I'm acting like I'm already there because I'm putting things in place to show you I'm ready for when it comes. So get in position and prepare yourself for success. And that is my invest in yourself tip for the week.
Have a team.
Solid.
Team in place, man.
Amen. 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 If y'all got any comments, if you wanna get at me, man, listen. Y'all know how to get at me, man. It's at Joe Bosch Radio on all social media. If you want to talk about finances, you know I can get at you with what I do with insurance and financing and retirement planning, all that good stuff at Rise Up Financial Agency. So that's how we get down on that note. And listen, if y'all want to jump into the next topic or play a music video, DJ LNF, it's on you.
We gotta do music, baby. Chop it up.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Y'all know how we do, man. Stay tuned. Stay blessed. Greetings, family. My name is Joe Scott, and I am the senior financial professional here at the Rise Up Financial Agency, where we make insurance personal by providing an elevated level of support for future-proof living. It's 2023, and it's time to make this your best year financially. We would love to sit down with you and have a financial review where we go over all of your life situations. Did you recently start a new job and need to roll over your retirement plan? Or did you start a new business? Did your family increase in size with the birth of a child? Or, on the other hand, did someone pass away? What about a teen that's going to college for the first time? Or you just graduated college and you're about to start your first job? Either way you look at it, all of these are reasons for us to sit down and review. All right? Let's sit down in person or set up a virtual meeting so that we can review all of your information and make sure that we put you in the best position to have the best financial year you've ever had. All right? Again, you can contact me here at riseupfinancialagency.com, on social media at Rise Up Financial Agency, or you can scan the QR code here right to my left. I will speak with you soon. Let's make the best year ever.
Yeah. The city of gods. Yeah. Huh? I ain't a crip, blood off folk. I ain't no bull, no choke. I'm not. I'm just a sheep. Lord is my shepherd, but they call me the goat. I am. I'm from the 9, so I'm born to ride. I rep price like 5, you rep 4 inside. And there's no need to talk. I claim Christ as King of New York in the city of gods. Chris the God of the city is ours. The city of Big, the city of J, the city of stars. City of stars. The start of resting Christians, I'm guilty as charged. Give me my cell, bring me my Bible, give me my cross in the city of God. City of gods. Chris the God of the city is ours. The city of Fabi, city of Nikki, the Lydia's stars. Liddy, to the resting Christians, I'm guilty as charged. Give me my cell, bring me my Bible, give me my cross. And the the quiet, you're not on my level. You're getting rowdy, I'm getting rebel. Gas, no brakes with my foot in the pedal. Cause now they lab dancing on devils. I'm from the 9, I'm from the ghetto where you can get banned for your pebbles. When you get grand slammed if you wrestle or thrown in the trash can if they catch you. I know where I've been, so I know where I'm going. I don't just love God, I'm a showman. I know they'll hate me just for growing. If I get canceled, that's promotion. Ride like Cedar, jump to the boat and walking on water, feet in the ocean. Blood would drown, mad that I'm floating, no longer grip. I'ma keep loking, can't stop, won't stop neither. I would Dragon Ball Z ya. I would Goku, you freezers. I'll go Gohan Vegeta. For the king who redeemed us, for the kids who need us. I pick up my cross, I pay the cost. Yo, Jesus is Lord, you can get lost in the city of gods. Chris the God of the city is ours. The city of Big, the city of J, the city of stars. City of stars. The start of resting Christians, I'm guilty as charged. Give me my cell, bring me my Bible, give me my cross in the city of God. City of gods. Chris the God of the city is ours. The city of Fabi, city of Nikki, the Lydia's stars. Liddy, to the resting Christians, I'm guilty as charged. Give me my cell, bring me my Bible, give me my cross. And Christ the King of NYC, and I'ma say it till I DIE. Blow up a class like BMG, and I'll bring the news like Swayze. They didn't know I'm about to go crazy. Feds glory alone, no KB. As I learn from the greats like Jay-Z. Diddy and Nas, 50 and John, the city of gods. Cause the king of the city is ours. The city of Pop, the city of Kiss, the home of Rigor. And we're not demons, we're children of God. Inspiring youth to reach for the stars. Flow deep down, it's my special delivery. I bring the fire just like a chimney. Carry the torch, Statue of Liberty. Carry the torch, Statue of Liberty. From Brooklyn to Queens, we get it crackin', Manhattan to Staten. We make it happen, can't forget about the Bronx. Cause that's where hip hop starts, in the city of gods. Chris the God of the city is ours. The city of Big, the city of J, the city of stars. If it's start of resting Christians, I'm guilty as charged. Give me my cell, bring me my Bible, give me my cross in the city of gods. Chris the God of the city is ours. The city of Fabi, city of Nikki, the Lydia's stars. If they stood arresting Christians, I'm guilty as charged. Give me my cell, bring me my Bible, give me my cross in the city of gods.
Ooh.
Going in. New York tonight, baby.
All day. I'm loving it.
I'm in aftershock mode right now, so I'm still like just
Now that joint,
that Clifford Gray joint is crazy. What? Crazy.
Wow. Man, that's crazy, bro. Listen, man. I'm in my mind. I'm still bouncing like the city of God.
I'm telling you,
I can't even get my words out properly.
I think we might need a New York remix, man. To be honest,
I told him.
Listen,
where's that?
I had him come up at Kingdom Rising 2. We had just met a couple days before Kingdom Rising, and I said, "Dude, my roster is stacked to the gills, but if you show up, I said I'll bring you up to do City of Gods right before we did Set It Off, and it was bananas. I mean, the place almost burned down, but." I told him, bro, I was like, listen, man, I'm like, yo, if you do a remix and you don't put me on it, you're dead to me. Records hard.
I know that's right.
It's crazy, bro.
So,
crazy.
Lost and Found, I know you wanted to lead us in this conversation with John Morant. Can you please take it away, sir?
Wow, so John Morant, man, he's been in some trouble lately, bro. Not only... Oh boy, I don't want to go into backstories. Okay, the first thing that he was in trouble for and in the news for was for assaulting or allegedly assaulting a 17-year-old kid, right? Not only that, but he's also now under investigation by the NBA for what was it? Yeah, you told me.
He was supposedly brandishing a gun at a club in Denver.
Yes, yeah, he was in the club in Denver. Shirt off, around with his dudes, whatever, had the gun out, had the piece out, and it's flashing around on IG. I mean, like, that's what we do at 5 a.m. So now the question is, for one, is he out of the league? A lot of people are saying he is actually right now away from the away from the team indefinitely. But is he actually going to be out of the league? And has he shot himself in the foot, pun unintended, to where now his career is in jeopardy? You know what I mean? So, what do you guys think?
I mean, I read a few things that he was only going to miss like 2 games. They may have
Nah,
changed since I read it.
Mm-mm.
Um,
nah.
because the reason why I read that is because someone posted it. It was like, when it came to John Morant post flashing a gun, they gave him a 2 game suspension. Where Kyrie Irving shared an internet link and they suspended him for 5 games, which was like, ooh, that's what made me think about that. Um, but if he's suspended longer than that, I don't think he's out of the league, right? Because at the end of the day, um, having a gun in and of itself is legal. It's not illegal to have a gun.
Facts.
It's not
Uh,
illegal, technically, to show it on IG. Now, to have it in the club, that part, dead wrong. And supposedly he pulled it out on somebody at his home, right? Which, again, if you feel threatened in your own home, you have the legal right to defend yourself. Now, I don't know the whole specifics of the story. They're saying that the young boy was 17 years old that he pulled the gun on. They're saying that, a lot of different hearsays, right? But at the end of the day, um, was there actually a crime committed that would have him thrown out of the NBA? And I would have to say no, right? There have been worse things that have happened where people have not been thrown out of the NBA. Now, I will say, has this hurt his image? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely hurt his image, especially after um, they handed all the deals from Nike from Kyrie Irving to him, and now he out here flashing guns. I bet you they wish he still had Kyrie Irving right now, right? Um, and I just don't think that this is it. Now, I think this is dumb on John Morant's part, and I think that he's probably going to need some counseling, and they probably are going to suspend him for a couple of games, right? He is away from the team, but I don't think he's out of the league at all. I think he'll probably be back. I would say he'll probably be back before the end of the week, to be honest with you. They're
too
not going
soon.
to keep him out that long.
Too soon.
They're
But
not, because there's no
but the,
crime.
but here's the problem.
There is a
Like
crime.
when you look at the history of athletes that have gone all the way, and I don't mean that in a good way, obviously. You think about the was it the Aaron Hernandez case with New England. You think about Ray Caruth in Carolina. You think about in the NBA. You think about Jason Williams, who was brandishing guns on his property. He was like, no, this goes back to what we were talking about, but he was, I guess, having target practice in his backyard. But ultimately, he ended up, I guess, accidentally shooting his driver. When you think about those cases, I think it was a good thing for the NBA or the Memphis Grizzlies to at least say, "Hey, man, we need to put you on ice to give you something to think about before you do something that you're going to regret." And of course, that regret falls on them because they're gonna be like, "We took a chance on you," kind of like what was the I can't remember it was like I'm a guy with movies, but I gambled on you and you. Oh, it was a New Jack City. Well, I see like I gambled on you and we lost, whatever. So they're just. I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA just don't want to have any regrets. And when you think about it in that context, I think they did the right thing by at least putting them on ice, give them something to think about. From what I understand, I guess between his current earnings and the Nike earnings, there's like an excess of $200 million on the table. So what are you doing, man? You messing up. Let's put you on punishment for a little bit. Hope you get your head back right. Whatever it is, whether it be 2 games or 6 games, something needed to be done. And I don't disagree with what they did.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, well, a couple sporadic random thoughts in no particular order. Number one, there was a serious law broken. So Colorado is carry state, but it's a federal law that you can't have a gun in a club like that. So he definitely committed a federal law for sure. A federal act against the law. So that's a serious charge. Number two, the NBA really pigeonholed themselves. The way that they treated Kyrie with the vaccination situation, they basically set a standard of a really staunch stance. And, basically, we're so adamant against Kyrie not even be able to go into the arena and all types of stuff that it's like if they can't have a lopsided approach, or it'll be so blaringly obvious that the scales are tipped. Number three, it's like it's a complete marketing, nightmare for not only the NBA but Nike. But at the end of the day, you guys and I all know that after time goes by, fans get amnesia. Half of professional athletes in the history of time have committed ridiculous acts that we forget about them over the course of time, or we just are like whatever. So I think that you do have to put them in serious timeout. I don't think it can be a week or two. I think you really need to make it painful. You need to make because basically what you're saying is that if you don't give him a really harsh penalty, you're basically telling the black community, quite frankly, that you guys are just pawns for us for entertainment. Like, you have to look at the bigger scope of it. It's not about John Morant. It's about the fact that he's an influential figure in that community. And so you can't just be like, but he's a really good basketball player, let's just sweep it under the rug. It's like, no, this is the type of situation where you need to tell everybody, look, nobody is bigger than the law. And certainly these people have to respect their platform. But what I will say, covering all that, because I like to cover everything with grace, is that I was thinking about it a lot today, and I was just like, what does he think? I'm like a huge John Morant fan. And I'm like, what is he thinking? I'm like, you have all this money, you're the face of the league now, basically, with Doncic, like that they are it. But then I thought to myself, if they had YouTube when I was 22 or 23, I did a lot of stupid things too. And maybe I didn't brandish a weapon in a club, but I also wasn't worth $200 million and had the access to the stuff that he does. So it's like, I also was like, you know what? I'm not going to be quick to judge him because I was an idiot when I was his age too. So, my hope for him is that he doesn't just lean on the PR statement that his highly paid PR company pumped out. I hope that he seriously looks at his life and says, dude, what am I doing? I'm 20 something years old. I got a couple $100 million on the table. I come from a good family. I'm playing for a great organization. Like, I'm a role model to these kids. I really need to make some serious changes. I happen to have a friend who, was in the NBA for a long time. And, he was around that lifestyle for most of his life. And he had maximum contracts and still had a hard time breaking away. People don't realize that, they think that, when you sign, a max deal, your whole life behind you goes away. I have friends. My friend Z, you'll see my man Andalo, my man Zaman. He does my merch. He's with me in some of my videos. He's in that Lion's Den video. I've known him for 30 years. When I was 14 and he was 15, he was the first person to say to me, yo, you're going to be a famous rapper one day. Fast forward 30 years later, he's still been by my side. He's rough around the edges, but it's like he's been as loyal to me as anybody in my world. It's very hard to just cut people out of your life that have been really loyal to you. And so I'm sure some of these guys, I'm sure a lot of them aren't, but I'm sure some of these guys that are around Ja that are a bad influence on them, they might have been there a long time ago, and it's not easy to just cut people that have been loyal to you out of your life. So I think we need to show him some grace that he's young and has been thrown a lot of fame, fortune, and prestige at a very early age. But my prayer for him is that he'll take a long, hard look at his life and say, dude, I'm headed down a really destructive path. I need to make a decision to walk away from that ASAP.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm a little more harsh. I think sometimes people need to get the book thrown at them in order to change. And the reason I say is because just within the past month, he's had not only these incidences, but I mean, you talk about just with the possible gun charge, assaulting a minor. Like, come on, what are we doing? Pulling the gun out on a minor, allegedly. You know,
Yeah, that's insane.
And then also, not only this, but allegedly pulling the gun out on the what was it in a security a Memphis mall, the head of security.
Yeah,
They pulled the gun. Like
yeah,
he's not that he did it, but you're an accomplice because you're there and it's your people's. Like,
yeah,
bro, you are making decisions and around people that are going to mess up your chances here. Um, Especially with the NBA, there's been people like Anthony Randolph, one of my favorite players of all time, who just kind of just got blackballed from the league for like what reason? You know what I mean? Like this is one of those Anthony Randolph, like back he
Okay.
was on Golden State, I think.
Yeah.
But he was just blackballed, like super talented dude, probably averaged, he was like a Lamar Odom, probably averaged 20 and 10, and just for some reason, like they just got rid of dude. You know what I mean? So I've just seen the league do less. I mean, Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, like just trash dudes who still got something left. Now there's some money left on. Yeah, come on, Allen Iverson, come on.
Did you really just say Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony were trash?
They weren't blackballed?
Oh, they were blackballed.
He's saying the league trashed them, not that they were trash.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Come on, Joe.
Just
facts.
Sorry, you threw me off. I was like, wait, hold on.
Come on, give my man LNF some more respect than that, bro.
Listen,
it's like he's talking about when they got tired of Allen Iverson in Philly, and they just traded him to Denver. I can't stand when the NBA do like when these teams do stuff like that.
Or when he went to Memphis.
Come on, man.
Because he didn't want to come off the bench, like, you know.
Right.
But so this is my thing is obviously I think he'll get suspended for the rest of this season. I think he'll be back next season because he's a money grab, to be honest. And the NBA is not letting that go. You know what I mean? Because he is their it boy right now. If you ask me, I think he's overrated, but he's their it boy. And yeah, I don't see from that money factor. I mean, there'll be a nice little statement, you know, for the rest of this year. Like Adam said, he'll be gone. People will forgive. And if he's able to, hopefully the hope is that he's able to correct his behavior going forward. Just unfortunately, I think that sometimes we actually need consequences in life to actually feel it, and then that's when we make the change. And you know, unfortunately, I don't, and I'm not God, but I don't see the consequences to where it's actually gonna, you know, encourage change here. I just see somebody who's getting away with stuff.
Well, I really hope the swoosh cuts ties with them, because they were very quick to cut ties with Kyrie, and it's like, you know, and I've worn the swoosh my whole life, you know, and I realize now that they're like the preeminent, like they are like the forefront of like the antichrist movement, but that's a whole another conversation. But my thing is like, it's just amazing to me the double standards that these corporations employ, and it's like, you know, they were so quick to throw Kyrie in the garbage, and it's like, I'm very interested to see how Nike handles them, because, you know, it's like very easy to get rid of Kyrie when Kyrie's on the tail end of his career, but I'd like to see what they do with you know, Josh staring at the next 15 to 20 years of a career. You know what I'm saying? Like, something tells me they'll be a little softer on him than they were Kyrie.
Right.
Well, we will see. We will see. So before we end out, we got to talk about Chris Rock. So I saw the special. LNF, did you saw the special? Did you see it, Mr. C? So the only one that didn't see it is Adam.
No, and I proclaim myself to be a diehard Chris Rock fan. I'm embarrassed.
Well,
I'm
let you know we're about to give you some spoilers.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. By the way, next time you have me on, remind me. I got a great story of the night I hung out with Tony Rock, his brother. Great story. We'll save that for another time.
Well, you know, okay. I was gonna say we can get into that, but you know we're short on time.
Well, you talk about the Netflix. If there's time, I'll tell you a quick story about me and Tony hanging out.
All right, so listen. Chris Rock went all the way off. In my opinion, I think he went off. right? So if anybody is familiar with Chris Rock's comedy, um, it is not something we could ever play on this show because it is raunchy. He uses MF every other word and every curse word you can think of, he uses it, right? So if it's going to challenge your faith, let me give you the disclaimer right now. If it's going to challenge your walk, this is not the show you want to see.
Nope.
It's not. If you can handle it, though, it is a funny show. Now, Chris Rock is, in my opinion, he's not the funniest comedian out, but he's very funny. So he did a lot of addressing situations that he's dealt with. He's let's just get to the meat and the potatoes. He jumped right into talking about Will Smith, Jada Smith near the end of his set. And I'll talk about it because there's actually so many clips from it. His jokes are timely though, right? What he said though was that listen, I don't need first he hinted that he was going to talk about it. He was like, I don't need another rapper mad at me and such and such and such. People was like,
That was
oh,
nice.
here we go.
That was good. That was good.
You know, so he led into that, and then he spoke about the situation. He's like, everybody know what happened to me. He's like, they know. He was like, Will Smith practices selective outrage, and I was like, He was like, listen. He said everybody then called him a female dog, which he said the real word.
Yeah.
But the way he did it, it was so funny because he's like, yo, Charlemagne called him a female dog, and such called him that, and this person called him that. He named like 17 outlets of people that called him that word, and then he said, and then he gets mad, and he hits me. He's like, Will Smith plays Muhammad Ali in the movies. He's like, I played Pookie. He said, that's some that's some. What did Puffy say? Bitch assness. Excuse me, but that's what he said.
Oh gosh.
Hilarious. Listen, I can say those words quickly because technically, the A word is in the Bible and the B word is a female dog. So put it together is basically what he said.
You're making
right?
this worse. Come on, bro. We could have skirted on by it, but I'm gonna justify it.
Woo! Listen, I'm just saying because you get your super save people who don't get it, and yeah. Look, somebody said I'm letting them know why I curse. So listen, in my opinion, he addressed it properly. He said more than enough about it, and at the end of the day, it don't need I don't think he needed to say any more. Now LNF, you feel differently. You feel like he should have went in a little more.
Yeah, because I'm petty, so I definitely would have wanted more. You know what I mean? So he spent about 10 minutes talking about the Will situation. My biggest thing is like it wasn't, for the most part, wasn't nothing new. He kind of recapped what everybody had been saying during that time. So I wanted to see something new, get his perspective. But everything was kind of what we had already said. He's smaller than Will. Will wouldn't have done that to nobody else. I think the after show after that, that they did with a couple of comedians on there was kind of addressed that even better. The only thing that I was like, okay, he went off was when he was talking about Jada. Maybe that's low because that's Will's wife. But I think he talked about some stuff that most of us, I would say, probably thinking about her as far as her character goes. So, yeah. I overall the special, I thought it was enjoyable. I didn't think it was as funny as some people thought, but then again, I'm not a crazy Chris Rock fan. For me, Dave Chappelle is as the bar, as high as it gets. But overall, I enjoyed it. Hopefully, that wasn't sinful, but I did enjoy it for what it was. And I just wanted to hear more from his perspective.
All right. Mr. C?
I personally thought that there was some funny jokes throughout, but I thought that I didn't think he was as sharp as he normally is. Especially as far
I agree.
the deeper you go into it, I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what, something's off about him. And I was telling Serious Voice, we both watched together. Like, I don't know, something just seems to be off. And I think what to me the real takeaway is, and I'm not saying because he shouldn't have been emotional or whatever, and there's no indictment, but I think the anger that he was feeling in the moment, especially toward the end, and he even said it. I messed
He
up
messed
my
up his
joke.
own joke. Yep.
And I'm like, up, you're cut. You're cut.
Yep.
Like,
and then he tried to go back to it. Yep.
And then it was over. It was over. To me, he lost me there. So I just thought it wasn't as good, you know.
I give people grace for stuff like that because listen, it's scripted to a certain degree, but comedy isn't like music, right? There's no backup track for him to reference. You know what I'm saying? There's no instrumental or anything like that to help him if he misses a line, right? So when you're doing a live show, he went a whole hour and he slipped up one part. And honestly, if he didn't even correct it, most people probably wouldn't even have caught it.
I got
Wouldn't
you.
have even caught it.
I got
You know what I mean? I give him credit for acknowledging it. And listen, from what I understand, the check he got from Netflix was well worth it.
Oh yeah,
he knew he was gonna get paid. His check, they talking about $40 million for that.
40, I think $41 million.
41? Crazy.
That's nuts.
And on top of that, it was the very first ever live streamed event on Netflix.
Yeah, that was dope.
That was dope.
And I watched it on the repeat. I didn't even watch it live that night because I was in Connecticut for a show.
Yeah, I was at a baby shower, not a baby shower, a 1-year-old's birthday party. Let me tell you, and I'm gonna just end off the show with this. This is totally off script, right? As an adult with kids, right? These 1-year-old and 2-year-old birthday parties, they are not for the kid.
Nope.
They are reasons for parents to get together, eat food, have cake, dance and party, and have one activity for the kids.
Yeah, agreed.
It's just a good reason to get together.
They're just coming along for the ride.
Listen, when you have kids, make sure you get around other kids and other families, because I'm telling you, those birthday parties, that's the new club. Birthday parties is the new club party. I'm telling you.
Don't invite me. I'm good. Please.
Don't invite. What are you talking about? You DJ'd my daughter's first birthday party.
Yeah, so technically I was kind of working, right? But I don't enjoy them baby parties.
He lying.
No, I'm not. Don't invite me. And I got kids. I done it. I'm good.
You don't enjoy those.
So what you gonna do? You just gonna drop them off and bounce? I'll pick them up after.
Listen, I'm be honest. I've been like, yo, I'm not going. I have done that and just sent the wife. I've done.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't gonna go, but I am so glad that I did go. I am so glad that I did. I had a ball. I'm talking about it was food. They had, well, never mind. But it was a good time. It was a great adult party with kids as well.
Wow.
So on that note, listen, we're gonna wrap up the show. Listen, thank you to each and every person that tuned in. Shout out to Oxen Brand Music. Thank you for rocking with us. Prophet Link, Darnell Rivera. Big shout to him as he just got engaged. And everybody that was able to rock with us. Selah the Corner. Adam, thank you for rocking with us for the whole show, bro. It means a lot.
Yeah, you guys
means a lot, bro.
Anytime you guys will have me, I'm happy to jump on, man. This was a real blessing. I love you guys, man.
Definitely. So listen, we will see y'all next week on the same bat time, same bat channel. Rise Up Worldwide. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.
I need a horse and a carriage to swing around. I need a throne for the people to sing around. Cause that's how you maneuver when the king around, right? And he's 16, I'm a ringer now. I make a once in a lifetime linger now. So when the hands are time, I got a finger now. I pick a finger up after the finger down. It is a fingerprint that you could trace back to a monument on some interplanetary continent. And y'all misinterpreted the confidence when it's obvious the incompetence of the accomplishments within the ambience of a king's kid is just common sense. That's dominance, man. How you a king and you never get credited? When you superior, they feel inferior, saying that you too competitive. Every song is repetitive. I got it all out the sediment. Who is your opposition? I am from your village, homie. I am your relative. Chill with the sedative. Came with a plan to remove that note. Came with the king to remove that vote. Bang bang with the gang to remove that scope. Man can't hang with the crew that flow. You can move that boat with the two I wrote. All I hear in my ear is young boy, young boy, young boy, young boy, move that dope. And I had a dream that I was supreme, could enter a mind and tell him a theme. So I told the world one man at a time, their version of God was more than a scheme. Like all that you thought is really the truth. You knew all the time and this is your proof. Then hit the chateau up on my commode and watch the whole planet explode. Poof.
I see you running, I know you coming. Float, I'm holding on it, but I'm only human. Float, I know you want me, show up for me. Float, I got problems, but you know I'm on it. Float, 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 float. I should be down on me. I should be 1 and 3, 3 and 4. Your numbers doubting me. I should be probably, I shoot the enemy. Grip with a little squeeze. Conquer the killer, get guillotine. I don't need that type of energy. I had enough of my energy. Pipe down right now, get a grip on me. I'm sick of me. Got bigger things like winter things. When a winter breeze hit, I'm summer seasick. Little respect, little G check. Temple reset. I ain't eat yet. Push your seat back. I'ma need that. Armor intact. Got my geek cap and my street rep. Ego go 6 feet. All of this weight in this baggage, I need a jitney. Yoki be lifting, I'll be quit me, need to be empty. He who has sent me, wanna be perfectly in sync. Burdens they bury me, barriers carry me off at your pedals when puppet come tempt me. So to my shield, or to my heels, as I climb hills in a minefield. Keep my mind still when a trail build, keep my eyes peeled on a wonder to find real flow. I see you running, I know you coming. Float,